府不是真的帮助人民，因为现在我们知道越来越多，超过几千个新加坡人都无家可归。如果新加坡的房屋政策真的这么好，新加坡人不用变成无家可归。按照人民无厝会使徛，爱去徛路骹，有马打来，伊人就爱走。Then they will have to tell people that they are actually caring for the citizens. Because our public housing is affordable. Our public housing has a lease of 99 years. But this lease of 99 years is not secure at all. Why is this lease of 99 years not secured? Because the government can come up with policies such as SERS and such as VERS to say that they want to take back your land immediately. They want to take back your public housing immediately. And if all else fails, there is still the Land Acquisition Act. 当你的屋子好好住在那边，讲可以住99年，住到一半他讲，我们现在要有一个 SERS， 住40年、50年他就要跟你拿回，要不然他跟你讲 OK 好，我不要拿回，70年、80年过后来一个 VERS。 And the Prime Minister himself has declared that if let's say your housing do not fall under SERS, then it will go automatically under VERS. And under VERS, the condition, the things that the government will give back to you is less favorable. If under SERS, the condition is already unfavorable to the extent that so many people are complaining about it, to the extent that people can't afford their medical bills, they have to rent out their house and live elsewhere by telling them that they are going to assess how many people has fainted and almost died. Will the government come and take care of their housing bill, their hospital bill? No. They are the ones still have to pay for the housing S&CC. No. These people are still the ones who have to pay for their own medical bills. And how do elderly pay for their own medical bills when they are not working? So they stay in their Ang Mo Kio flat for long. They rent it out because it has passed the 5 years of MOP. But if these people were to move to a new housing estate with a new lease starting from be it 99 years or 50 years, with a new MOP period, they cannot rent out their house for the next 5 years. Where are they going to get their rental money to pay for their medical bill, to pay for their S&CC, to pay for all their utilities in their housing? Is the government going to pay for it? No, the government won't be paying for it. 所以当政府讲屋子给你可以住到99年的时候，可是现在他租到一半，40年、50年他跟你拿回，70年、80年他跟你拿回。然后新加坡的资政在国庆日、国庆典礼已经讲过了，他讲说，如果你的屋子是已经住到70年、80年他才拿回的话，他给你的条件、给你的赔偿是没有降好的。而屋子呢，如果现在你只住30-40年，他跟你拿回，条件就已经不好了。你如果还在相信新加坡政府的房屋政策，你是不是准备变成无家可归 ？And people will say, well, Hui Hui lives in a BTO, so what's the big deal? The deal is, imagine this. If a plate of chicken rice has dropped, do you think the chicken rice in the restaurant have to drop in their prices or can they increase? So if the housing prices in Singapore, when people can choose between a 50-year lease and a 99-year lease, and there is a demand going for 50 years lease because people can't afford it, the prices for housing in general in Singapore will drop. Why should I rent a house and have a lease of 99 years when I'm already past 50 years old, and most Singaporeans are marrying late. So when they need a house, maybe they marry at 30 years old, and they have the house maybe 5 years later at 35, they just need a lease of 50 years to live until they are 85. Why should they get a house that have a lease of up to 99 years? So demand will drop, housing prices will drop, and what happens when housing prices drop? Singaporeans will have to suffer. Because when you try to borrow money from the bank and your house is worth nothing, then you have to fork out cash. And if you are old, you cannot get your HDB loan. You have to go to get private loans. And private bank won't want to lend old people money. So what do all these old people go to? They go to the street and become homeless people. Did the government think about this? And they say, don't worry, in that case, we don't take the 50 years loan. Everybody should take the 99 years lease. But if everybody is going to sign and take the 99 years lease, then why is the government saying that they are going to come out with a 50 years lease, and nowadays they keep saying that we are going to right-size people's houses? That is not called right-size. It is just called downsize. Our HDB is already becoming smaller and smaller. And they still say that they are going to right-size our house. And they are asking people who are already, let's say you are moving from a 4-room flat, 5-room flat, already your house is going to become smaller. And now the government says you still need to further right-size it. Then it's only going to become even further smaller. And now people will say, can you bring out some statistics? Because you didn't bring out any statistics in your speeches. That is because the PAP supporters, when we bring out numbers, they don't listen to it. And even if you bring out numbers to Singapore court, for example, the unvaccinated judicial review, when we bring out numbers from the government to the Singapore court, what does the judges say? They are based on shaky assumption. So is the Singapore court telling me that my statistics are based on shaky assumption, or is the Singapore government, Singapore court, saying that the Singapore government actually makes statistics based on shaky assumption? Are the statistics really from me or from the Singapore government? If the Singapore government are the ones providing this kind of statistics, why is the Singapore government providing shaky statistics to Singaporeans? What are they trying to skew? What are they trying to lie? What are they trying to hide? And they say, you should always trust the government. If the Singapore court can't even trust the Singapore government statistics, then how do you expect Singaporeans to trust the government? And if the Singapore court thinks that the Singapore government is lying through their statistics, then why are PAP supporters asking us for the statistics? The PAP supporters should ask the PAP for the statistics. And until now, towards our public housing, there is no transparency, no accountability towards how our money is used. And some people will say, okay, she talked a lot. Why is she not wearing t-shirt like she used to? Why is she wearing this? Because this is called nursing maternity dress. And people will say, okay, so what's the big deal? The big deal is, why does a pregnant mother need to stand here to say that we need to protect our housing for our future generation? If the Singapore government is doing a good job towards our housing issue, towards our housing policy, why are elderly fainting at Ang Mo Kio right now? Why are there ambulances being called to the Ang Mo Kio estate when it is run by none other than the Prime Minister? 如果新加坡执政，新加坡总理他们真的懂得管新加坡，管好他们的房屋政策，为什么人民要沦落到来到芳林公园讲我也有人照顾我们的屋子，没有人关心我们人民可能会无家可归，可能没有钱给房屋。 Of course, the PAP supporters will say, if you're not happy, you can migrate. Then to the PAP supporters, if you're not happy, you can don't watch. But why are you still watching? You are watching because you know the PAP is lying to you. You are trying to find out the facts. But you also know that the PAP has none other than statistics based on shaky assumption. Can the PAP be trusted? No!
当一个政府连给人民的号码都不可以正确的讲出来，我们哪里还可以相信他？他到现在 ，people will say, okay, you're wearing a nursing and maternity dress. So what is nursing? Nursing means breastfeeding. So they will say, oh, Hui Hui, you are breastfeeding. You have been breastfeeding and lactating for the past 5 years, every single day. Of course, that's why my children are still here. And people will say, then you are none other than being like a cow. If you think I'm like a cow, then our housing issue, our HDB is none other than a cash cow to the PAP government. The PAP government, from a cash flow perspective, has been taking more money from our public housing than giving back to the people. Did they even give back to the people? No. Our land is free. The government take it for free. They develop it, yes. But how much cost is being used to develop it? What is used for the construction? What is used for the manpower? And that's about it. Construction and manpower, can they tell us? They keep saying that they are selling their HDB at a loss. That is because they have been pegging all the land prices to the CBD area, to the Central Business District area. 我们的屋子在哪里 ？Punggol、新港、Jurong、Tampines、乌路的地方，他把那块地的钱放成是好像在芳林公园，放成是那种商业区的那种金钱，那种土地来贩卖。然后他跟人民讲：“哎，这块地很贵，你知道吗？你懂，我们是亏本卖给你的嘞，那个屋子。如果真的是亏本卖给人的话，你觉得他还愿意当政府吗？他脑里只有金钱，亏本卖给你的事情他会做吗？他不会做。So why is it that until now they are still harping and they are still trying to squeeze people out of our housing policy? And now they squeeze you not only during your first time you buy, during the BTO. After that, they try to squeeze you out from your SERS. And if you don't qualify for SERS, which only 5% of the people qualify, if you are the remaining 95%, then they will still try to squeeze you out from your verse. And the government has already declared that the condition, that the things that they are going to give to you as compensation under SERS is already bad. So under verse is going to be worse. So we cannot trust the Singapore government or how they are going to manage our future housing policies. And that is why we are here today. The Singapore government has also said that they spend a lot of money, that they try to give you free upgrading. Is the upgrading really free if you have to pay money for it? And if they can bulk purchase all your BTO unit, all your upgrading unit, like Lego bricks, how much is the cost? How much did they pay those people to build your house? For example, our SNCC, they collect billions of dollars, billions. But are they giving the cleaners like $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month? No. They are giving themselves billions of dollars a month. And they organize activities through their grassroots, through their CC, through their RC. And can opposition people participate in it? When they claim to be non-partisan? No. First, they vet through. Are you a PAP voter? You PAP voter? Okay, you can take the benefit. If you are not, you don't get the benefit in this RC, CC, or even PA event. The Singapore government always claim they are non-partisan. If they are really non-partisan, if the People Association is non-partisan, then this is not a real baby inside already. If the PAP government can be trusted, the Singapore court will not say they make statistics based on shaky assumptions. Even the Singapore court don't trust them. So why should we trust them? 如果新加坡的法庭、新加坡的法官都不相信新加坡政府，我们新加坡人民还相信新加坡政府来干嘛？ If the PAP government can be truthful to the people, and if the PAP government has made plans properly in the first place, there is no need to come out with SERS. There is no need for them to do this kind of thing and try to squeeze money out of people who have already lived there for a long time. People who are already attuned to the environment. People who are using these houses because the Singapore government doesn't care about our public housing, public healthcare and our retirement. So first is the housing, next is the healthcare, whereby elderly are fainting at Ang Mo Kio, going to the hospital. And why is that so? Because they need to pay for their medical bill. They are already having health conditions. And with this kind of news, they have heart attack, they faint, they couldn't take it, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, etc. And therefore they ended up in the hospital. And what is the Singapore government doing about it? Nothing. Next, if the government care about our retirement, then there is no need for this kind of elderly to rent out their houses as well. So first, there are people who have to rent out their houses to pay for their medical bills. So maybe they stay in the master bedroom, they have to rent out the other rooms. And there are also people who use these houses as retirement income. So how they are using these houses as retirement income works? Well, they can rent out the whole HDB unit for $2,000-$3,000. Then they go elsewhere to rent another bedroom for maybe say a few $100s. And this is how their retirement income comes about. Why do they need such retirement income? Why do they need such retirement plan? Because the CPF is nothing but a failure. If the CPF system did help the elderly population, they don't need to work at old age. They don't need to come out with this kind of retirement plan. They don't need to rent out their house and be afraid of the MOP when they have to move to a new estate. They don't need to rent out their house and then after that scared that the government is going to confiscate their house and faint at Ang Mo Kio, at the Prime Minister GRC. 就是因为新加坡政府没有想好来房屋政策，他只是在那边想赚钱，就叫人家住30-40年就搬走。然后就是因为新加坡政府没有跟人民讲说，你的屋子其实他随时可以拿回，他让你以为你真的可以在那边享清福。可是他们呢，退休政策没有想好，因为退休政策没有想好，人民必须把屋子租出去，拿来退休。租出去怎么退休？有2种，医药方面，有些人可能住在主人房，他们在那边调自己的身体，然后他们就把其他的房间租出去。另外一种是怎样？另外一种就是他们需要退休，没有钱，没有收入，又找不到工作，因为可能老人身体不好，手脚慢，给人家嫌东嫌西，没有的工作。所以这种人他们就怎么办呢？他们就把整间屋子租出去，可能可以租出去2-3千块。他们在外面又自己租一个房间，租一个房间可能几百块。所以这相差的价格就是他们的收入。他们退休老了要吃什么，要用什么，要去 polyclinic 这些都有钱用。为什么要这样子？他们这样子就是因为公积金政策很失败。如果没有失败，人民不需要这样子做。如果新加坡政府有想好我们的医药费用，人民不用掏钱出来。如果他可以想好我们退休费用，老人真的有办法退休，他们根本不用租屋子。现在你叫人民不要靠你，不要靠你的医药政策，不要靠你来养他们的身体，不要靠你来养他们退休。他们用自己的房子来退休，用自己的房子租出去来退休。你跟他们讲要搬出去住，然后搬去新的地方，5年不可以租，这样他们5年的收入从哪里来？ The Singapore government wants Singaporeans to be independent. So there are Singaporeans who say, okay, fine. You know, I don't need you to pay for my medical fee. I don't need you to pay for my retirement. I will rent out my house. And now by telling Singaporeans they need to go to another new estate for their housing, they need to start a fresh 5 years of MOP, Where is their income going to come from? And it is because the failure of this government in terms of our public housing, public healthcare, and our retirement. We are going to come here again on 23rd July at 4 p.m. Thank you.